Honourable Paraka Horomia.
Mr. Speaker, I can hear this gentleman burbling on the other side who didn't even know how to answer no twice yesterday because the Minister of Finance took the question off him. And that is what's happening with this government. You're not too sure who's steering what or who's in charge of what. But what is most certainly important, what is important, is to make sure that we get this message across. And I listened intently to Minister Dunn's response. And that last member who spoke, Mr. Speaker, he should be shamed in the sense of what he knows going on in relation to the Pacific's people. Let's talk about the wage gap between New Zealand and Australia. It's flattening out on 20%. And there will need the effort in this bill to ensure that the income that is made there comes home. Because since this government has come in, from the top end of the exodus of people, especially working class people, it has increased 26%. And when we were the government, they kept on parroting on about closing the gap. They said that they would come up with a plan that would mend all of those relevant issues to ensure that people stayed in New Zealand. There is the fastest moving group of people going to Australia in the last 34 years. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. It's a disgrace. And Mr. Speaker, that member over there has been chortling about the increase in wages up to 18.17, Mr. Speaker.
Order. Point of order. Sit down, please.
Mr. Chairman, I object to what he said in terms of telling you, sir, to put it in your pipe, Mr. Chairman, and smoke it. I think the member should withdraw and apologise for those comments about you. I believe you don't even smoke, Mr. Chairman.
Please, member. The point of order is upheld in terms of the pronoun which the member uses. And I know at times of passion members get a bit sloppy about that, but the chair is not to be brought into the debate. Honourable Paraka.
Speaker, I withdraw and apologise. Being a non-smoker myself, thank goodness, because the working class in this country are being punished. Let's talk about the rate rises. Let's talk about if you're a farmer on the main road, you get nothing. And it went up. And you know what they tell you? Is you got the use of the library and the swimming pool. Nothing else. Worse still, Māori in Porangahau, well, that member comes from over there, whose family are well known in the sense of building sites and selling sections and that, is going up something unreal. Now, how do we manage that? And my colleague and neighbour, Minister Tolley, knows what I'm about to say. In the sense of multiple owned land, Māori get nothing, but they pay the same rates, and it's an imbalance. People in Porangahau who have lived there for years and years, and in Bayview and Napier, who have lived there for years and years, and that bloke over there comes up with the issue about saying everybody can afford this, anybody could afford this, and Labour's common sense notion that we need to have a freeze to the end of the financial year is something surely, Minister, you could support right now. And that's the indifferences in here. The increase in GST. Now, Mr. Foss is arguing the increases in the wages being taken home. Well, that's a lot of real wages. But you go to the supermarket and that's gone up 18%. You put your GST increase on it, that's gone up. There is no raise in the minimum wage. The last time that group was in government, they took the minimum wage up 52 cents. Might have been 58. We took it up 9 times. We ensured that alongside our clear economic plan, which stabilised the export productivity and which ensured that on average farms were coming through at 19.9% in the sense of free returns at the top end. We made sure of that. Now what's happened now? It is jammed. The timber returns are real because of the world uptake. But the rest of the this is relevant to GST, Mr. Foss. You're supposed to be the finance brain. This is relevant to GSTs. And we are at it, Mr. Foss, and you should be ashamed of yourself for the 40% in Hastings who are unemployed. for the 40% in Hastings who are unemployed. How can you sit there and pontificate about that and see people losing their jobs? That you advertise 150 jobs in Auckland and 2,700 turn up. What are you going to say? Get out to Marae Nui, get out to Flaxmere and see what's happening to the families. That they can't afford it, that they can't afford a whole lot of things. And one of your members dares to mention and says, this is only a... Sorry? That member over there dared to suggest that this wasn't much of an increase. This is shameful. And you know it is shameful. And it's shameful. But alongside that, we had income-related rents, we had 5 weeks holiday, we had 14 weeks maternity leave, we had a plan.
Please sit down.